Hi, I wanted to take a moment today to talk about finding your passions. Everyone talks about, know your strengths, know your gifts, know your superpowers, know what sets you on fire, know your passions. And um, I spent basically a better part of last year, maybe like you can even say like the entire year last year, really asking myself that question because I knew I was really good at a lot of things. I kind of had a general idea about like what are my strengths, and but I really couldn't say like it's like I always felt like something was still missing. Like I had, like you can still have the things you're really good at. And I had read a good book called The Big Leap, and it talks about like your zone of genius. Like all of us have like things we're not good at, things we'll probably never be good at. It's like if you're not good with like accounting, maybe like having a bookkeeper. Like in my case, I would need someone to handle that part. It's not that of course you can be capable of being good with your money, but you might need someone to handle like the details of it. And I know, like for me, I'm much better starter than a finisher. I'm really good at dealing with ideas, coming up with ways to like implement ideas, and so those are some of my strengths. And then like you have your zone of genius, and it's kind of like combining or narrowing it down. Like it's okay, like yeah, you can be good at a lot of things, but really like there's only one thing there that really hits that sweet spot of just it's your greatness. It's like something that doesn't drain you. Like you could still be good at something like, yeah, I can still do my bookkeeping, but I am drained after. So what is the benefit of that? And so there's just like things you can ask yourself. So anyway, I've read a lot of good books, and I just wanted to say I finally found something I'm super passionate about, and I was going to tell you how I kind of stumbled upon it. And that was like the key thing for me was being open to those little nudges. And it's so subtle. It's like it's subtle. Like to me, like if you're so like I don't know where to start. Where's my passion? Like why don't I already know? I'm already like this age, or I've already been through all this, and I still don't know. And like the beautiful thing about it doesn't matter how old you are, or how young you are, or how inexperienced, or how experienced. It's just more like just letting yourself flow with your nudges, giving yourself permission to follow those nudges. And so my big thing was obviously I'm into tarot readings, and like spirituality. Like I've always been in like the broad sense, like into woo woo from the periphery, like on the edge of it. And last year I finally gave myself I wish I could say it's like full permission, but I gave myself like a little bit of permission, a little bit of wiggle room to start learning. And where I started was with astrology. I'd always been into astrology, even though, it's like I majored in biology. I majored in science. I love physics. I was always pretty decent at chemistry, even though, chemistry, I hate chemistry. But, I've always been good with sciences. But I've always been interested and fascinated with astrology, and not even so much like the daily, what's going to happen to you today, but even though that can be useful, but more like I wanted to know the energies involved with the planets and transits and cycles, and how your birth chart, like what does it mean, like your natal chart, and just really like knowing for myself, like really truly knowing that. And so I finally gave myself permission to go get some books on it, and I got books like more modern textbooks. I say they're textbooks, they feel like textbooks to me. With these astrology books, but I gave myself permission to buy some newer books, modern day books. I even bought like books that are like like they're like 50 years old, like they're probably over 50, like some of them are from like the 1950s and on astrology. And I started reading those, and I just gave myself permission to just to soak it up with an open mind, just read it, just allow myself to read it and not feel guilty, not feel like, oh, that's so not, well, let me think. My background, I have been running a delivery company for 10 years. I have been an entrepreneur ever since I graduated from college. I have a lot of entrepreneurs in my family, and it's just kind of like runs in our blood. And it's a very, logical, analytical based business. But I always felt like I was like, something's still missing. I feel like there is some part of me that is woo woo and spiritual, and a lot of aspects of my company really fulfill me. And, as a whole, I'm really, I love it. It is a life calling in a lot of ways, but I feel like there's still something more that I need to pursue and know and learn. And that so astrology, just giving myself permission to start reading up on astrology. And I kept wondering. I kept seeing other other people that I admire and look up to, like other entrepreneurs, like doing amazing things, and I'm like, man, how do they get into that? How do they become like an expert, or how do they become, how do they learn how to like take something that they love and really project it out? Like, how do they find that passion? And I was like, you know what? It just takes some baby steps, like allowing yourself to like float around, explore the terrain, and find out where things click for you, where it like sings to your soul, because it's out there, and the only way you can find it, it's like you can't just look at the menu and just go straight for it like that one. I mean, maybe you can, but that's not how it worked for me. But I was gonna say, so I met with some astrologers last year, talked to them over the phone. One of them highly recommended tarot, and they was like, yeah, why don't you start learning about tarot? It's like applied, it's a not. What are they? It's just, it's a corresponding discipline with astrology. And I was like, I had no idea. It's like I was aware of tarot, but I was like, what is this discipline? How does it connect to astrology? Because I've never heard that. I never even knew. I just had no knowledge of it. And then I, got a really good book on it. Started there. Got my first Rider-Waite deck, and then everything just clicked. I finally was able to use that woo-woo part of me and was able to like have an outlet, and it was gorgeous and so insightful and so comforting and peaceful and just profound, and all of these emotions just tied with it, and it just felt so natural. And then so I went off the deep end with it and just went crazy, and just like couldn't get enough information, couldn't read up on enough, how to touch a deck every single day and just learn the cards. Like right now on my desk, I have, two like Shadowscapes and my first Rider-Waite that I turn into flashcards, and I have the Terror of the She as well. So I have all these decks right here on my plate, but I just fell in love. And I love astrology, but tarot just took it to a whole new level. It's like, oh my gosh, this is almost like a life calling for me. I'm like, this is a tool that I cannot imagine putting down now that I am aware of it, now that I know what it's capable of, from the mundane, everyday life questions to these higher dimensional spiritual questions and everything in between, just accessing like everything. It feels like all this stuff is going on in my head. It finally gives me like a focus and gives me insight into everything going on in my head. That's like if you want to speak about tarot, I'm very King of Swords, Queen of Swords. I can get really up in my head, and my thoughts and my emotions just can kind of get like trapped. And I was like, I needed something to help give me a way to like understand better, or bring it out of me and be like, and I can finally see it clearly. I can cut through all the clutter and get to the meat of the matters. And so that's how it happened for me. So it's like just giving yourself that permission. And I was going to say, like, you might have people that might not agree with things that you want to go into. Like someone could have very negative connotations with astrology, or like in my case, or tarot. Don't let anybody else keep you hindered or stagnant or trapped. Allow yourself to just overcome that. Just float over that. Anyone else's criticisms, in case you have that in your life, it's okay. It's okay. You're in control. If something's calling out to you, it's for a reason. And I was thinking, I couldn't have found tarot if I hadn't just jumped off into astrology. It would have been, I just never would have known it existed, really. It would have, maybe I eventually would have come into it, but, it's like that one little step towards this immediately helped me branch off into this. And in between all that, I still have my main business, and I have two other little side businesses. I'll say businesses, or just like two little other side seedlings for business ideas that have also kind of like the experience with those, and creating a product. I have like a diaper rash cream that is amazing, but it's kind of like, I was able to learn from that, like creating product, that was easy for me, but actually getting it out there, making it like a viable product that can bring in money is a little bit more difficult than I thought. So it's kind of like I had the experience dealing with that, issues around like having boundaries with people, even like with my diaper rash cream, I had a lot of people asking for free, and I was giving out free, and then I realized, holy crap, I put so much money into this and effort and time, and it's not even my main business. This is just something that I had used for my daughter that works so well, and it's like I would like to make some money off of it. And it's like giving myself permission. I was like, well, through all this, I realized I had a lot of money blocks. Even as an entrepreneur, even running my own business for 10 years, I had lots of money blocks, and I realized it's okay. It's okay to ask for money for things that you have put time, effort, and energy into. You're allowed to get money back for that. And it's not ripping anybody off. That diaper rash cream is freaking amazing. I don't have to use it for my daughter anymore, but I used it for 2 straight years. It works so well. I was like, I'm putting my passion into this because it works. It can help other moms and dads. And then I also started baking brownies as well, which is like I found the pitfalls of that. It's like it is time consuming. It is a lot of work to bake, but I do love doing it as well. But I was like, even still, both of those helped open me up to a new world of experience to help lead me into something that hits all my buttons, all the passion, all the enthusiasm I have, all the intuitive ability, my intuitive gifts that I have. It gives me the ability to exercise that, to explore that, to grow and strengthen it, and bring it to life. While having really good boundaries, realizing my money blocks as an entrepreneur, as a female entrepreneur, and overcoming those, and being able to give myself permission to have 2 businesses, 2 viable businesses, like one in the analytical, the real world reality, and the other one like in the spiritual realm, and combining those, like having both. Also, I was like, I knew, like, when they ask you as a child, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And everyone's saying this or that. I realized, I was like, I always said, I need 2 jobs at least. I knew then, I was like, I need 2 things. There's no way one thing will ever be able to satisfy everything I want to do. It's like, I'm going to get bored with just one job day in and day out, which being an entrepreneur helps because there's like a million different hats you have to wear anyway. So every day feels like a new day sometimes. But yeah, I was like, I definitely know I needed 2 different things to really truly satisfy me. And it's like I finally found those, and it is amazing. And yeah, I'm not totally sure where my journey's ending up or what the finished product is because I'm still learning and experiencing. But I just want to say, for anyone out there who feels lost, it's just start giving yourself permission for things that had kind of like were nudging you, like, hey, dive into this, try this, do it. Give yourself that permission. So anyway, kind of went on a long little rant there. I hope that's helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments. Yeah, I feel like I've been on this life journey forever. I've known for years, I'm like, there's something else I need to add, but I had not given myself permission until last year. So it's funny how amazing, like a year ago, where I was mentally in my head and like on this journey and like where I am at today. It's like, wow, it's amazing how it clicks together. And all it took was like knowing I'm open and ready to find it. And that kind of will be a catalyst to helping you find it. So I hope that's helped you, and I hope you guys have a great day.